This is the makeover of the dining room of the Bildad Fuller House in Plimpton, Mass, built in 1750. We moved in June of this past year, and this is the first room that we're going to take on. So this room, as you can tell, is wallpapered with wallpaper not of our desire, but it works for the previous owner. They've done a lot of work to put built-ins in, and this has the original horsehair plaster. So time is spent wanting to strip the wallpaper, completely redo the room, maintaining the same style of the antiquity. You see the old steam radiators, the old original windows. And I've already begun stripping some of the wallpaper. As you can see, here's the first wall stripped. Took about an hour, and it was a vinyl back paper, and it stripped off pretty well, and the walls are in great shape. So you can see I started to work on this corner. The tools to strip the wallpaper, pretty simple. A tiger cutter, and what the tiger cutter allows you to do is actually run it across the wall, put little perforations in it. Spray bottle with steaming hot water and vinegar, and what you want to do is fill the vinegar about up to here, and the rest with steaming hot water. The hotter the water, the better. And a scraper. Now the other piece you can use is a 5-in-1 tool, and that helps you get into a lot of the corners. The neat part about that scraper is my dad used it when he stripped the wallpaper in the 1800s Victorian that we grew up in. So more to come. This is an hour in. More work to go, but this is just the first installation of stripping the wallpaper. Kind of like that stencil too. All right, more to come. So next installment, so wanted to kind of show you the process that I go through to actually strip the wallpaper. First thing I did was I told you I used the tiger cutter. I ran the tiger cutter across the wall with little perforations in there. Then I take the water bottle of vinegar, spray it, and I let that sit for about maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Then using my scraper, come down underneath, just get a little piece, and you'll see the vinyl paper pulls right off the wall. And what that leaves you is the paper back behind the vinyl paper. You see kind of the perforation marks? Now the trick is spray it again. And you spray it so that it's soaking wet, just like this. Let that sit for probably 5 or 10 minutes. And what you'll see is I'm doing 2 sections at a time. Starting at the top, that way the vinegar and the water drip down. And I'll keep spraying it and you start to see the bubbles appear. My spray bottle's about empty, so I'm going to fill that little baby back up again. But as you can tell, all this time that I've been doing this, this one's been soaking. So the trick is with all of this is patience, because if you are not patient, what you'll wind up doing is damaging the wall underneath. And what does that do? Creates more work for you, which means that you'll then have to skim coat these walls, which with a horsehair plaster wall I don't want to do, because that will mean combining lime and gypsum and all kinds of stuff to get it together. So we'll let that soak in. Now what you can see, grab my scraper, and I do it in sections. Come across, and as you're doing it, you'll start to see it peel off. If you feel the scraper dig, stop, because then what will happen is you'll start to dig up plaster. So this needs a little bit more, but you can see with time, patience, a little bit of elbow grease, you can get all of this off, And I got a couple more walls to do, so I'm gonna get back to it.
From this to this, bare walls, stripping them down. Great stencil up there though, wouldn't you say? This is our progress today.
So the room is completely stripped of wallpaper. And it really wasn't too bad. It was the combination of the tiger tool, the vinegar and water, the scraper, and the love of my life helping me. As we go through the walls, they're actually in pretty good shape. You should see a few spots on the main walls where I got some dings that I got to repair, where they had hung some pictures, which is totally fine. We get to the side walls, they're in pretty good shape as well. There was a crack here at some point, but it was repaired. You can actually see some water damage too. But the issue is going to be, see, here's another crack that was repaired, but I think there's still some work to be done to it. This is the front wall. We get to the center column in the front wall, there's definitely some more cracks that will need to be repaired. I'll show you. So when you come in a little bit close, you can see the crack. And then if I push against it, you can actually see it move. So one of the tricks we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to repin those cracks. And it's only in the front walls. Here's another example. They're not horrendous. For a house that's almost 300 years old, it's in pretty gosh darn good shape. This wall, when the previous owners put in this fireplace and china cabinet, that wall was blue boarded. So that was actually the worst part of stripping the wallpaper, because it had to come off a plaster. So that wall will get sanded. You kind of see where the paint's kind of scraping off. So we'll sand that down and then we'll be in good shape. So not too bad. All in all, probably about 4 or 5 hours work with 2 people, and a hell of a lot better than using a steamer and a lot less mess. So follow up for the next installment. What we're going to do next is actually wash the walls with trisodium phosphate, TSP, because we need to get the sizing off the walls. And then we're going to get some stuff in order to pin those cracks. So more to come. Good work today.